The Great Flag Debate and Canada's Flags. These are the flags of all the provinces and territories of Canada. Each flag represents something different about the province or territory it represents. Alberta's flag became the official flag of Alberta in 1968. The main points of the flag are Alberta's coat of arms, St. George's cross on a white background, the field, mountains, and blue sky, and the main color of the flag, blue and gold. St. George's cross on a white background symbolizes British heritage and represents King George III. The field, mountains, and blue sky represent the beauty and agriculture in Alberta. And lastly, the official colors of Alberta are blue and gold, which are also referred to as Alberta Blue and Alberta Gold. The British Columbia flag was adopted in 1960. The main points of the flag are the Union Jack, the sun, and the wavy blue lines. The sun represents the glory of the province, while the wavy blue lines represent the Pacific Ocean and the province's position in the western coastline of Canada. The Manitoba flag was adopted in 1966. The main parts of the flag are the Union Jack, the Manitoba Shield, St. George's Red Cross, and a buffalo. Its visual purpose is to recall and preserve the Canadian red ensign, one featuring a bright red field and the Union Jack. The Manitoba Shield shows a buffalo standing on a rock beneath the Red Cross of St. George. New Brunswick's flag was adopted in 1966. The main points of the flag are a ship on blue water and a golden lion. The yellow background dominated by a galley ship representing local shipbuilding. It sails on a wavy blue and white lines and display a white sail and 3 red flags. The golden lion is representative of the New Brunswick ties to Britain. Newfoundland and Labrador's flag was adopted in 1980. The main points of the flag are blue triangles, red triangles, yellow arrow/sword, and a white background. The color blue represents the sea that surrounds Newfoundland and Labrador. The blue triangles represent the Union Jack and represents our Commonwealth heritage. The red triangle represents the 2 parts of land, the mainland and the island. The golden arrow represents the way to what we believe will be a bright future. It also honors the sacrifices of Newfoundlanders in military service when the flag is draped as a vertical banner. The white background represents the snow and ice in Newfoundland and Labrador. Northwest Territories flag was adopted in 1969. The main points of the flag are blue panels, a white background, and a coat of arms. The blue panels represent the lakes and waters of the territory. The white background represents the ice and snow. The Northwest Territories coat of arms is in the middle. The upper portion, while serrated base, represents the dangerous polar ice. The wavy blue lines represents the Northwest Passage and in the Northwest Territories. The dividing line of the lower proportion, divided diagonally into green and red sections, represents the tree line where trees can no longer grow. The green represents the trees and the red represents the tundra. The gold and the fox represents the minerals and furs which provided money in earlier times. The Nova Scotia flag was adopted in 1858. The main points of the flag are the blue cross, a white background, and a coat of arms. The white background and the blue cross is a reverse of the Scottish flag, which is a blue background with a white cross. The coat of arms in the middle is the Scottish coat of arms. The flag is to represent the Scottish heritage from which Nova Scotia stems from. The Nunavut flag was adopted in 1999. The main points of the flag are the colors blue and gold, the Inukshuk, the color red, and the star. The colors blue and gold represent the sky and sea. The Inukshuk represents stone monuments that guide people to land and also mark sacred places. The color red is a reference to Canada, and the star represents the leaders in the community. The Ontario flag was adopted in 1965. The main points of the flag are the red background, the Union Jack, and the shield. The red represents the original Canadian flag. The Union Jack represents our British heritage. The shield has a cross of St. George, which also represents British heritage. And the golden maple leaves are from the original Canadian flag. Prince Edward Island's flag was adopted in 1964. The main points of the flag are the lion, the grass and trees, and the red and white banner. The flag contains a gold lion, which also appeared on the coat of arms of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, whom the province was named after. Beneath the lion is a single plot of grass representing PEI in England, both of which are islands. Upon the mound of grass standing a mature oak tree, the official tree of Prince Edward Island, which represents England, and the smaller saplings on the left represent the 3 counties into which Prince Edward Island has been divided since 1767. Framing the flag on the 3 sides away from the mast are alternating bands of red and white, the official colors of Canada. Quebec's flag was adopted in 1950. The main points of the flag are the white cross and blue background and the fleur-de-lis. It's a modern version of the old French-Canadian flag known as the fleur-de-lis. The white cross on a blue field represents an ancient French military banner, and the 4 fleur-de-lis are symbolic of France. The Saskatchewan flag was adopted in 1969. The main points of the flag are the provincial shield, a red lily, the color green, and the color yellow. The provincial shield with the western lily are the floral emblem of the province. The green is representative of the forests in northern Saskatchewan. The yellow represents the grain fields in the south. The Yukon flag was adopted in 1967. The main points of the flag are the coat of arms, the green panel, a white panel, and a blue panel. It features the entire coat of arms adopted in 1956. The green panel is symbolic of the indigenous forests. The white panel is symbolic of snow, and the blue is symbolic of the northern waters. Canada's flag was adopted in 1965. The main points of the flag are red panels, maple leaf, and the colors red and white. The red panels on either side of the flag are to represent the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, like our motto, from sea to sea. The maple leaf has been Canada's symbol for 150 years, since there has been an abundance of maple trees in Canada, and the colors red and white are the official colors of Canada. There is an unofficial pledge to the flag which goes, "To my flag and to the country it represents, I pledge respect and loyalty. Wave with pride from sea to sea, and within your folds keep us ever united. Be for all a symbol of love, freedom, and justice. God keep our flag, God protect our Canada." Now let's move on to the Great Flag Debate. What was the Great Flag Debate? In 1964, the idea of a new Canadian flag was introduced by Prime Minister Pearson. Canada was not in agreement with him. They wanted to keep the original flag because it represented British heritage, of which Canada came from. Pearson went to Winnipeg May 16th in 1964 to urge his case at the Royal Canadian Legion. People started to side with him. He argued that Canada needs to have its own flag that represented what Canada was, not what Britain was. After many protests, the decision was final to change the flag. There were thousands of designs that were made. Here are just a few of the designs. I now have a short video from CBC on the topic of the flag debate.
Just another day of the office.
Robert Labonte is on his way to work. You might say he's got the top position on Parliament Hill. Every working day, it's his job to change the maple leaf on top of the Peace Tower. It's a job the flagmaster takes very seriously.
I'm really doing it for the whole country, so I'm really honored.
But the whole country wasn't exactly behind the new flag the first time it was flown 50 years ago, far from it. In fact, you might say there was more than a bit of a flag flap. The spring of 1964, With the old red ensign still flying proudly, Prime Minister Lester Pearson stands before the National Convention of the Legion in Winnipeg to pitch his plan.
That it is time now for Canadians, in the course of our national evolution, to unfurl a flag that is truly distinctive and truly national in character.
It didn't go well. But Pearson persisted. After witnessing Egypt resist Canadian peacekeepers during the Suez Crisis years before for wearing what they considered a British flag, he knew Canada needed its own symbol.
I think it was really important to him to have a flag, something that was uniquely Canadian.
Historian and archivist Glenn Wright says Pearson was in for the fight of his political career. Opposition leader Diefenbaker let loose.
When a prime minister decides that he's going to trample on the things of the spirit, then indeed we've arrived at a position not in keeping with the principles of democracy.
We can live under the same flag we've been living under ever since Canada existed.
All summer there were protests, even reports of fistfights, as Pearson attempted to sell his idea for the new flag. His idea was 3 maple leafs bordered in blue, but it was going badly. By the fall, even a parliamentary committee struck to settle the matter was deadlocked, until the memo that molded the maple leaf surfaced.
He could take one piece of chalk and he could draw the map of Canada in one single piece without lifting the chalk.
Della Stanley is talking about her father. George Stanley was the Dean of Arts at the Royal Military College in Kingston. A proud Canadian months before he had been asked for his ideas about a new flag by Liberal MP John Matheson, who was helping Pearson.
The last thing John apparently said to my dad was, "George, when you have a moment, jot down your ideas." And mostly what he was looking for was sort of the rules for heraldry, for selecting flags.
But George Stanley also liked to think with his pen. And he drew his favorite idea based in part on the college's flag, but with a single maple leaf in the middle. It was to become part of history. The parliamentary committee was showing George Stanley's idea.
There was this design that had been suggested months before, and it broke the logjam.
The vote was unanimous. Minor changes were made, 11 points instead of 13, but thanks to George Stanley, the maple leaf was born.
There it is, a red maple leaf,